The ministry of the Word and God's dispensing for God's economy. The dispensing of the Triune God as life into the Tripartite Man according to His righteousness through His holiness and unto His glory. Week 8, Day 2. Morning Nourishment. Romans 8:4. That the righteous requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Romans 8:10. But if Christ is in you, though the body is dead because of sin, the Spirit is life because of righteousness. In the book of Romans, Paul first covers the subject of condemnation and then proceeds to cover justification, sanctification, and glorification. As God deals with us, He always cares for three of His divine attributes: His righteousness, holiness, and glory. Righteousness is related to God's acts, to His ways, actions, and activities. Holiness is God's nature. Glory is God Himself expressed. Therefore, in righteousness, we see God's ways, in holiness we see God's nature, and in glory we see God expressed. Three of the sections in Romans, justification, sanctification, and glorification, were composed according to these attributes of God: justification according to God's righteousness, sanctification according to God's holiness, and glorification according to God's glory. Today's reading. In the first stage of God's salvation, justification, we participate in the righteousness of God. In the second stage, we are in the process of sanctification, a process in which God works His divine nature into us. Although we have obtained and participated in God's righteousness outwardly, God's holiness needs to be wrought into us inwardly. The second stage of God's salvation is that He works His holy nature into our being. In order to accomplish this, God has been processed into the available Spirit of life. Before He was processed, He was able to create the world, but He was unable to enter into His creature. Although He could do many things outside of us, He could not come into us until He had passed through the complete process of incarnation, crucifixion, and resurrection. Since being processed, He has become and still is the available Spirit of life. Now, like the air for breathing, it is so easy for Him to enter into us. Since Christ, the life-giving Spirit, is in us, our spirit is life because of righteousness. The Lord has made our spirit life by regeneration. Now, as the Spirit of life in our spirit, He is spreading Himself from our spirit into our soul, into our mind, emotion, and will. Eventually, He will even expand into our mortal body. In such a way, God saturates us with Himself. This saturation is called sanctification. Through this saturation, God works Himself with His holy nature into our entire being, into our spirit, soul, and body. Thus, our whole being will be fully permeated, sanctified with His holy nature. We are presently undergoing this process of sanctification, the second stage of God's salvation. In the next stage, we will be raptured and glorified. That will be the redemption of our body. Glorification means to transfigure our vile body into a glorious body. At that time, we will be completely and absolutely brought into God Himself as our glory. Then we will be fully glorified. The first stage of God's salvation, justification, takes care of our spirit. The second stage, sanctification, mainly deals with our soul, with a slight amount of saturation in our body. And the third stage, glorification, concerns our physical body. In Romans 8:10, Paul says that if Christ is in us, our spirit is life because of righteousness, meaning that in God's justification, we have gained righteousness. Through this righteousness, our spirit has been made alive and actually becomes life. However, there is not yet the divine life in our soul. Therefore, we need to cooperate with the indwelling Christ by setting our mind upon the Spirit, enabling the Spirit of life to saturate our mind with Himself. Then our mind will be life. If we continue to cooperate, this saturating and spreading one will spread Himself from our spirit even into our mortal body. Then we only need to wait for the time when our body will be brought into His glory. That will be our glorification.